Production funding for this program is made possible in part by the WKNO Production Fund, the WKNO Endowment Fund, and by viewers like you. Thank you.
And welcome to another wonderful episode of A Conversation With. We have not one but two wonderful guests with us today. We have world-renowned biographer, one of the most talented writers in America, Miss Sheridan Hill, and one of Memphis's greatest treasures, Miss JoAnn Ballard, and her story on how the Neighborhood Christian Center and her giving came to be. It is such a pleasure to have you, Miss Sheridan Hill.
Thank you.
Ms. Hill, you have a stellar resume, absolutely incredible. Could you tell the people of Memphis a little bit about why you write and how this whole thing came apart?
Sure. I'm what's known as a personal biographer. Primarily, I write the stories of folks who just want to capture the critical stories of the family, Grandma and Grandpa's story, publish it for the family only. Mm-hmm. But I have done some books that were for larger audiences, and this one about JoAnn is one. I was called by Hank Herod at the Urban Child Institute. Yes. Hank knew me from another biography that I had written. And so he was already working with JoAnn, knew about her work, and really felt that her story needed to be told.
Now we know, and we're going to have Miss JoAnn Ballard join us in a quick second, but we know that you have done some marvelous work with not only individuals that are wonderful like JoAnn Ballard, but Sidney Poitier, Ken Burns. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Well, I've interviewed a few celebrities. I have not written a book about either of them, but when I was a writer for Guilford College magazine in Greensboro, Guilford College brought very interesting folks to town. They brought Ken Burns, and I was privileged to interview him, and they brought Sidney Poitier, and I was very privileged to sit with Mr. Poitier and have a 2-hour interview with him.
You're a very interesting person, Miss Hill. I mean, you've been a lot of places. Currently, you're in North Carolina, beautiful part of North Carolina. What made you interested in the Ballard family that comes from Memphis? And you know, people hear all the crazy things that are happening here. As a writer, how did that make you feel, and what drew you in?
JoAnn's story is the quintessential story of what it means to give service with your life without asking what's in it for me, and to do it again and again and again every day, asking, and in her case, she's a Christian, and so Amen. Asking, Lord, how do I serve? How do I serve your people? So it was quite a privilege for me to get to know her, spend time with her, interview her, and write the story of how she was she was given away as a baby, and then came to be an adult who took in all kinds of people who were cast out.
With that being said, I would love to narrate the first part of JoAnn's existence. But in chapter 1, there is something very beautiful that you wrote, and we'll talk about your beautiful writing in a minute, but could you share with the Memphis audience that particular part in the book called, that talks a lot about Jo, and it really gives us an understanding who she is in the big picture.
This is the moment that her dad brought her to a relative's house, and the characters are Deloach and Ora May are the couple whom her dad is now bringing her to their doorstep, and her dad is Dyke. Deloach's marriage to Ora May Tanner was fruitful in love, but not in progeny. He was pondering that very thing when he heard Dyke Marshall's shiny late model car pull into the yard, alarming the chickens. The old front door of the hand-hewn farmhouse creaked as Deloach opened it. he was mildly surprised to see a little family heading for him, only slowly recognizing the man who had married Lacey Lee, his wife's niece, who was 10 years younger than Dyke. So these are the little babies that have lived with all that trouble, he thought to himself. The stories of Dyke and Lacey Lee Lawrence's fighting had rippled through the family for years. "Can you help us out?" Dyke asked, holding the baby outstretched from his new suit. The children's clothes were dingy and torn. "Just for a little while," he said, breaking into a grin when DeLoach reached out for baby Joanne, "till we get back on our feet." Childless Ora May appeared at the door and in a single gesture drew that baby to her bosom. After all those years of wondering why God hadn't seen fit to give her a child, she knew exactly what this moment meant. She knew that taking these kids that day might mean keeping them forever. She knew that she would be cutting cotton flour sacks to hand-stitch into clothes, that in addition to farm chores, she would be making many trips to the yard and back, hauling well water inside for drinking, cooking, and cleaning. And she knew she would have taken those children in even if they hadn't shared the same blood.
Wow.
As the two older children looked up from the doorway, the chilly winter air suddenly seemed to warm, and DeLoach and Ora May embraced their first foster children, welcoming them into their hearts and hearts.
That is such a beautiful, beautiful piece. If it's okay with you, Ms. Hill, because I want to go in deeper about that, can we take a little break? We're going to take a break, and then we're going to bring the beautiful Joanne Ballard on. And welcome back to A Conversations With. Obviously, we've spoken with the very accomplished Sheridan Hall, and now we have one of the most incredible Memphians that this city's ever seen, Miss Joanne Ballard. It is a complete honor for you to be on this program today.
Thank you.
We're going to jump right into it. I found your story fascinating as well. What was your thing with Florence Nightingale? How did that thing happen? It was an amazing tale.
Well, the way it happened was when I was little, we didn't have books at home, so my dad would read from any book that was around. So one night he was reading this book about Florence Nightingale. So as he was reading, I said, keep reading that book. I was a little girl, I guess 5, 6. So he'd read it every night until he read the whole story to me. And over the years, that book resonated with me, and it was what kind of formed my thoughts about helping other people, and her story and the whole thing just got in my systems and just began to be what I fashioned part of my life by, her story.
You know, it's interesting about you, Miss Ballard, because you were doing things a little bit different your whole life. There's one part in the book, I think on page 67, where that little bully kept bothering you, and you had to let him know you knocked him clean out. Unfortunately, you got home and you got into a little trouble with your parents, but that's okay. But the thing that fascinated me the most is when you went to Prentice Bible College. Tell the listeners a little bit about that.
Well, Prentice was a junior college that is where I initially was going to take my first years of college before I went on to senior college. But while I was there is where I met two ministers that began to talk to me about Bible college and about being a Christian, because at that time I was not a Christian, and they began to talk to me about that. Over the course,
you weren't a Christian at first?
No.
Okay.
Over the course of the time, that day and the week that they were there, I began to look at my life differently, because my life had been centered around Joanne.
Amen.
And what I wanted and who I wanted to be and what I was going to do. I was going to be a corporate lawyer, and over that course of that week, it was out in the country. I had time to think about what I'd been thinking about. So my thoughts began to change, and in the process of that, in about a week and a half, I decided that I wanted to leave and go to Bible college with these guys to really look at what my life would be or what I should be. So that is how I started to make a change.
Now, your beautiful husband, Monroe Ballard, and my mother worked together at Douglas Elementary. And there was not a day that Mr. Ballard was not giving back to the community. Let's talk a little bit about your beloved husband.
That was my first encounter with my husband, was that we did something from his church together. He was doing some goodwill things with kids in the neighborhood, and
in the Douglas neighborhood.
In the Douglas neighborhood, and I met him at church. So he invited me along, and that is how I got involved with his class and the kids at Douglas Elementary. And then after that, it was kind of history. We dated for 9 months and we married, and we started our ministry together helping
Amen.
kids. So that was my segue into getting in the community. Even though I was doing ministry in Memphis, this was my intro to the community, was through my husband, Monroe Ballard.
Were you already starting to serve the 75 children? And for those that don't know about this, Miss Ballard served 70, not one, 75 foster children without one dime of federal assistance. So was that marriage around that same time?
Well, it emerged out of that after we married. And about a year, we started to just bring children on weekends to our home.
How'd you do it?
We'd just pick them up and bring them for dinner. And over the years, there emerged needs for kids to stay overnight. And as the years went by, it emerged that we need to keep kids full time. So over a 30-year period of time, we kept kids that didn't need to go home or couldn't go home, and we ended up with that number of kids over a 30-year period, just helping them one at a time. Even though that was a part of our ministry, but Neighborhood Christian Center was totally separate from that. But it was also a part of helping us to form a catalyst in Memphis to serve.
Now, we don't have a lot of time, but I guess I'll ask both of you, why Binghamton? Well, if you're from Memphis, you know why Binghamton. But what was it about Binghamton that led you there to create all the programs that you have?
Well, where we lived in Memphis is between Binghamton and North Memphis. So if you ask my children, they'll say they're from North Memphis. But if you're talking to us, we'll say we're from Binghamton, North Memphis. But it was a community, the community we lived in and we lived near is where the needs were. And we felt that it was important to start in Jerusalem where we lived and just serve out. We served from where we were. We were not out looking for kids or looking for people. We met needs that were people that were needed around us, and then that's how we ended up serving in Binghamton.
I got a couple more questions, but I know we got to go soon. Did you ever get tired?
No, I don't get tired. I from the very beginning, that when this choice was made for me, that I decided that this was where my calling was. I'm comfortable with my calling, and it's my daily work. It's my duty. It's who I am. It's where I am, and it's what I'm about. So it's not like I'm going to work. I'm going to ministry. It is who I am. It's who you are. It's who I am.
It's funny that you say that, because one of the things that I heard yesterday, and I was sharing with Ms. Hill, is that E.R.E.L. Doctorow, I don't know if you're familiar with him, but he passed. He was a famous novelist. He wrote the book Ragtime and Billy Bathgate and what have you. But he was on Charlie Rose. They were showing an old episode of Charlie Rose on television, and Doctorow said something that was interesting, because Charlie Rose said, is writing your calling? And it's the same question I posed to Ms. Hill, and I pose to you with the work that you've done. Is this a calling? Because he said if it's not a calling, there is no life.
It is a calling, and it is my life, and I don't look for anything else to do. I don't have another avocation that I'm interested in. From the very beginning, when I knew that this was what I was to do, it is what I do, and it is what I will do, and this is where I'll die with my boots on.
Amen. Amen.
I wanted to say this question of how did she find children, because what comes to my mind is you saw some boys dumpster diving, and some of us see going into a dumpster for food.
Oh.
And you think about that moment that we choose to turn a blind eye or maybe say a prayer and move on. Joanne would speak to those children, find out where they lived, go meet their parents, say, hey, I would like to bring Johnny over to my house for a meal and invite him to church. And she developed relationships.
Give me some specific incidents or situations that have really tugged on your heartstrings, or some of the work that, well, your senior emeritus now, your beautiful daughter, Effie Johnson, has taken over. But some of the things that you have had to kind of endure as this servant to the city of Memphis.
Well, serving the Neighborhood Christian Center was my privilege, but some of the woes of serving is that you don't get people help like you want to help them. And working at the Neighborhood Christian Center, where we're serving over 60,000 people a year, you sometimes are putting a Band-Aid on, and you want to do like we did in foster care, where you can just spend the time that it takes. So developing the Neighborhood Christian Center and developing programs now that they can spend the time with the kids, with the adults, with the families, we see that there's progress. But at first, when it was just Monroe and me, it was just running through a lot of people that needed the help, and we were serving them with food and clothes and shelter, and we wanted to be like foster care. So that was the woes of not being able to really give the time. But now, with the Neighborhood Christian Center being there every day, we can give the time, and they are given the time, and things are being made, differences are being made. The other woe is that I just wish other people would see the need of serving and see the need of giving their life and their time to people who need help. The underserved really need the help and the touch of an individual, as not an organization, but the touch of a human being. If there's a need next door, if there's a need in the community, that I meet that need because I see the need, and not because I'm being paid or because somebody sees me doing it, but I meet the need because it's important to meet the need.
Well, you've worked with a truckload of kids. Give me one story about a child that was really on the bad side, and you all were able to save them.
Well, there are a lot of children on the bad side, but I'll just talk about this one guy who really had some serious issues going on with him. He could not read, and because he couldn't read, he dropped out of school, and he had some issues. I'd bring him to the center, and he'd get angry, and he'd bust out the door, and he may break something, and then he'd run and come back 3 or 4 days, and we tried again, and he would just go through the same thing. But one day, I would let him stay in my office overnight because he didn't have a place to stay either. So one night I came to my office, and there were books all over the office. I said, why do you bring all these books in here? So later on in the day, he picked a book up, and he said, let me let you hear this. So he began to read to me out of the book, and he'd been over a course of about a year bringing those books out of the library into that office at night and learning to read. He is now a married man. He is a professional worker.
Wow. And
he has his own home, and he's doing great. And, I'm just very proud of him. And he's just one of many that we've seen successes in them.
And one of the things that I find so incredible about you, Ms. Ballard, is that you say they're all your children.
Well, they're my children because we we love people and we want them to feel a part. The problem that Memphis and across the country has is that there are no tight relationships with people. You know, helping a person may not be helping a person if they can't identify with you or with someone who loves them through thick and thin, who is there on every hand. So we call them our children because they are part of us. They are our heart. They are our heartbeat, and they give to me as much as I give to them, because it's like you are to your mother. Right. Your mother loves you, and she wants to be a part of your life. I want to be a part of their life. I want to be a part of their success. I want to hold their babies. I want to go to their weddings. I want to be involved in their work picnics. I want to be involved with them. I want to be a part of their life. Mm-hmm. So just like your family, you want to be a part of your family's life. So these children, even the foster children and children at the Neighborhood Christian Center, and those that we serve are part of our life, and they're not, we've helped you and now we're finished with you. Mm-hmm. We want to know where you are 10 years from now, and we want to know where you are 20 years from now. We want to know what's going on with you, and we also want to be a part of that. Right. We want to celebrate that with you, and we want to be there to cheer you on. We want to clap at your wedding. You know, we want to be there when your baby goes to the nursery because it's our grandbaby too.
That's right.
And that is indicative of the Black community. Is that, you know, we're all in this together, aunt and uncle and grandmama and daddy. You know, we're just in it together.
Extended, yes.
We're just in it together, and we don't want to lose that.
No,
we don't want to lose that in our communities. We want to be a part of that, so the child will know. I always have a next door neighbor, even though she's not my mother, she's still my mother. Like in my neighborhood, there is a kid that, when he was 6 months old, I would take him down fishing with me. And he fished with me till he was 6 months old. So I was coming home one evening, and he was in his yard, and there were kids playing in the yard. And he said to the kids, about 10 kids in the yard, he said, "There goes my neighborhood grandmother." So now all the kids in the neighborhood call me their neighborhood grandmother. So I have a whole new name in my neighborhood as a neighborhood grandmother. So,
but it's nothing more than an extended family.
That's right. So they come to my house, they eat my turnip greens, and we have fun and just enjoy life.
That's all. That's what it's all about. Are you still fostering all of those children?
Well, I have one left, and
awesome.
She's about to move as soon as she finishes a few more courses of school, and she'll be on her way.
Wow.
But my last one will be out of the coop, and I won't have any more.
What you gonna do then?
Well, I find I have grandchildren. I have about 40 grandchildren and maybe 15 great-grandchildren.
And I guess you can go work with that great son, Monroe Jr.
Well, no, I'm still in the neighborhood. I will always be in the neighborhood. I do a lot of mentoring to other young people who we want to see do this work. I have about 20 clients that I see a year, and still do some fundraising for the Neighborhood Christian Center. But I find plenty of work to do, and my work will always be with young people and people on the street.
My mother always says, if you hang out with young people, they keep you young. Mm-hmm. They keep you young. One other question I did have, what is both of your visions for your area, and more importantly, the Memphis community?
Well, for me, there are problems, and I think that the way we address problems at the Neighborhood Christian Center, and the way personally I address problems, is a mentoring, and now being at the Urban Child Institute, meeting the needs of people, children and their parents from early age 0 to 3, that it is our responsibility to continue to mentor our kids and to continue to spread goodwill, not ignoring that these problems exist, because they do exist, but my responsibility is to continue to teach and to train and to be involved in the lives of the young people. I'm also involved in the lives of the older people that would be doing this. So I see my
Do you
role.
think they're doing enough?
There's not enough being done, but that is on us. Is
Yeah.
that we have to do more. We have to be involved civically with our community. We got to be out there training and in the trenches making a difference.
Ms. Hale, we have about 10 seconds.
Joanne and I are working on a follow-up book, actually, that
Really?
is 6
A
steps.
follow-up book. Awesome.
6 steps you can take to make things better in your community. 6 very simple steps.
Awesome, awesome. It is only the good Lord that put the you two together. It seems like a modern day Laverne and Shirley. you know what I'm saying? And Miss Ballard, you know I love you. I don't know if that is politically correct to say on television, but the Ballard family has meant so much to me and my family, and I want you to continue to keep doing that good work.
Thank you.
And for you, we appreciate each and every one of you that have turned in and watched this wonderful program, A Conversation With. I'm your host, Brian Clay. I look forward to seeing you again.